Hello, folks. This is Rod with Win by Doing. How y'all doing this evening? I see John's in with Nevermore Antiques. There's Lonnie with Garage Flips. Can you guys hear me okay? Can you see me okay? I'll give you a second to respond to that to see if everything is a-okay. Because I'm a rookie. It looks to be everything is good. Hello, Carolyn. How you doing? Thanks for stopping in this evening. Yes, I do these late at night until I get a little bit better at them so that I can maybe make a go of this. But anyway, thanks for showing up. I thought tonight I would just jump on. I got into I've had to go get a new computer because the other new one I bought crapped out on me. Is that the sound? Let me see if I can adjust that. Is that better? Testing 1, 2, 3. Is that any better? Let me see if I can adjust this up a little bit. It may just be me needing to turn it up. Advanced properties, cancel. Man, I'll just try to talk a little bit louder, maybe move a little closer to the mic, and until I get that figured out. Like I said, new computer, trying to get everything set up. It's just been kind of a pain in the butt, to be honest with you. It is the same. Testing, testing. Is that a little bit better? I do have a headset laying around here somewhere, but is that better? I'm just kidding. I don't have a headset with me. There's an amplifier on OBS. Let me see if I can figure that out. It's showing I'm going pretty high there, and the volume is, let me check the settings real quick. Properties, no, it's there. Dang it all to heck. Okay. I will go with that for now. Thanks for following along. Anyway, I think I got it. Oh, there's George Sharp. Thanks for jumping in. I think I got Carolyn Garage Flips and John at Nevermore Antiques. Most of these people have. I know John and at Nevermore Antiques and Lonnie Garage Flips. They have wonderful channels, a lot of inspiration given to me as I try to do this. And they have great input and great finds of their own, as well as great sales. Like I said, I haven't told you this yet. If you're new to this channel, I do this part-time. I'm a part-time reseller, but I do venture out to eBay. I do books on Merch Fulfilled Merch Fulfilled on Amazon. I also do Etsy and Poshmark. I dabble in flea markets. I do those once a month or so when they actually hold them. I know there's 2 this month and next month. They're not actually doing them, so I got a little bit of a break from that. I also dabble a little bit in Merch Fulfilled. So I do some t-shirt designs. If you're not familiar with that, it's basically earning royalties off of t-shirt designs on Amazon. So if you do subscribe, every once in a while you're going to find videos with the green on the green bar on top instead of the hello Ronnie with Heart Pickers. But if you're here only for reselling, and you see videos pop up that have the green header on the bottom, those are my GIMP tutorials, and they're real basic. I try to do everything in layman's terms. I've only got 2 videos out there now, so it's not like I'm spending a lot of time doing it, but I do try to put those out periodically. So if you do see the green bar come across on my thumbnails and you're not interested in that, just pass right on by. So Anyway, tonight is what sold. I pretty much covered beginning of March through today. You're not going to see spectacular numbers, and you're going to see a lot of things that I am just really trying to liquidate, and I'll show you as we go along. So I think that's probably about time for me to get going on this. I'm going to go ahead and hit that fade into my screen. I'm going to go ahead and pop over the... Yes, I watched that too, and thanks again for that little plug on the Bolo I gave you. If anybody hasn't heard that, you'll see that later on this video. It's one of my most recent sales, and it's really something I recently stumbled across too. But anyway, these first thing we got here is these softball batting gloves. To be honest with you, I've had these for about a year. I bought about 30 or 40 of them, and I picked them up. I want to say I had 30 or 40 cents per glove in them, and I'm finally getting all of them sold. So you're going to see a few of them in here. It's that time of season. These are basically, you know, the old 70s, 80s sweatband wristbands with pink gloves. These are girls or women's, small, medium, and you know, those are $3.50 plus shipping. Like I said, I'm really trying to get rid of these. I actually thought I only had a few pairs left, and I dropped the number by one, and lo and behold, I found another pair, so I'm going to have to actually put this listing back up. Next thing we have here is this stunning vintage estate mother of pearl turtle, and I can't remember what that was. Oh, I did put nautical in there. 1 1/4 inch brooch. I was playing around with my camera settings on my cell phone, so I upped the ISO on the pro settings on the camera, and that's why it looks pretty bright here. And then I actually took one with different settings so that they could kind of get a different idea under different lighting situations what it was going to look like. And of course, I took a picture of the bottom. Thanks, Lonnie. You know I'm trying. And yeah, I think that's all the photos I took of that one. So that one went out. I believe I actually took, I kept this up. That's probably going to flash on and off for... I'm going down. I think I took a best offer on this one. So I'm not going to lie to you. I did not get the $19.97 plus shipping. I actually took a offer of it was $12 plus shipping, so total of $15.50 out the door. And something I'm really trying to do, some of this stuff I've had for a long time, if it's a reasonable offer and I know what I paid for this is jewelry I picked up in lots. I'm just getting to the point where I'm realizing that you can look at comps all day long, and if it gets to the point that they're sitting way too long, I'm going to take a reasonable offer, because money in hand is worth a lot more to me than a number sitting out there on eBay. So next item I have coming up, this is part of a lot. I'm going to have to go back. I should have been a little bit more prepared on this, but I picked up a lot of my mind just blank. I picked up a lot of books and these little pewter or lead miniatures, and this was just a loose lot. Most of the stuff I had was in a in package, new seal. This was just a loose lot of them that was sitting in the bag, in the box, in a bag of its own, and I went ahead and let that go for $5 plus shipping there. I was trying to actually get over to my see if I can take a look at my invoice real quick to make sure what I paid, but maybe I'll get back to that. Let's see. And I go silent. So I get back to that. That's my... Let me send her a text. That is my wife. She doesn't actually know I'm over here. Well, she knows I'm over here at the new house, but she doesn't actually know that I was going to stream tonight. So now that she knows, she's probably going to pop in the chat and try to make a fool out of myself, or make fun of me. Anyway, maybe I'll get back to that if I can pull that invoice while we're looking. This is actually part of that lot of books I picked up in. And I want to say I gave $56 for the lot of books. I've already sold a few of them. This is these Flames of War. I'm going to have to just pull that lot up, because for the life of me, I cannot. I think that those little soldiers there were part of that same lot. So I found it here. I'm just going to go scroll down real quick. Give me just a second, and I will let you know. Dang it all to heck. I may just have to get back on that. This just shows how unprepared I was. Of course, they don't put any of my invoices the right way. Anyway, if you catch some of my past videos, you'll see it. I know that when I bought these, I figured if I made $5 a book, I was still making profit. So I listed them, starting them out at about $14.99, eventually dropped them down to $9.99. These are actually older versions of these books. And they're actually, it's a game, a strategy game. And you'll also see, mixed in with a lot of books, there was a lot of miniature, how to paint. Hey, Gulbull, thanks for joining. You just bought that? Did you buy all of them from me? So this is basically the rules and everything that goes to play in that game. So that one went out $19.99, $266. Shipped them out media mail. Thanks for joining, Adam. Okay, we won't talk about these again, but here's another set of those gloves. It was a hot month for... Oh, did it say unboxing? I am so sorry, Sarah. I apologize for that. I'm fairly new to this live streaming, so I thought I had changed everything over from the live boxing. So if you came for the live boxing, I apologize, and my feelings won't get hurt if you don't stick around. But tonight is all about what I've sold this month in March. So we got another set of those gloves. This is another interesting one. Of the first auctions. Okay, typically I do a lot of my sourcing through online auctions here locally. Basically, you log in on Sunday night or Sunday. You can look through everything, place your bids. The following Thursday, you go pick up. You pay and you can go pick up. Actually, everything closes Thursday night, and then Friday you actually go back and pick up. These particular items, I went to another auction, which was a live auction. And, you know, growing up, most of the auctions that most of the auctions I went to growing up, it was farm auctions where they bring out an item, you bid on the item, and you move on. They might bring out box of item. They might, auction off a whole table at a time. This particular auction here, basically what they do, I just wasn't prepared. They bring out tables, two tables, let's say. The first table, they auction off, but you're only buying one item. You're bidding on one item. So if you win the bid, say $30, you go up and you can pick one item for $30. You can pick 10 items for $30 each, or the whole table, however many items times 30. But typically you get the one item you want, and they move over to this table, do the same thing, and then they come back to this table and they start the bidding process all over again. This time it might go up to $10. If you win the bid, you go pick out how many items you want at $10 a piece, and the other part of this is if there's anybody else that wants an item off the table at the same price that you want at, they line up behind you and they keep going that process back and forth until everything off the tables are gone. If it gets down to where there's 5 or 6 items on there, that's when they drop the price lower, and it's number of items times the price. So it might be 10 items at $1, $2, $3 each. But anyway, it was very interesting to me. I did end up picking up a bunch of knives. That was a short story long. I picked up, I want to say there's probably about 10 knives in there for $20. And these are little, they were only 1.5 inches or so long pocket knives. You can see there I put a nickel. I believe that's a nickel. Man, they put so many things on coins nowadays. It's hard for me to keep track. And just to kind of judge the size. But these were very small. I went in and took, and this is another thing I was playing around with lighting again. And there's a crappy photo. This might have been one of the nights that I had one too many beers while I was trying to hold the camera steady. But anyway, this went out $6.50 for both of them plus shipping. So not a ton of money there, but I was slowly trying to recoup some of the money that I did spend on these knives. Okay. We will talk. These are some, I don't know if you saw these in the recent haul video that I did, but these are, and I just realized who you were, Gold Bull or Adam. These were 2 posters I picked up at a local thrift store at half off day, and I actually gave $5 a piece for them. They were these Bianchi leather advertisement lithographs and from the 70s. Right there it says 1976. And this one was a Lawman Histograph Fine Arts. I actually sold this for $29.99 plus shipping. Next thing we got here, this is picked up at the local auction. This is a Sears Craftsman set, and I cannot for the life of me, this was actually missing 2 pieces. You can see there it was missing one of the extenders as well as one of the sockets up here, if you can see that. And I actually let that go for $22 plus shipping, and that actually went out in a flat rate envelope. Kind of a, it was in a hard case. It fit in the envelope. That's the way it was going because I didn't want to pay by weight and dimensions. Next thing we have here, I paid like $3 for these, a box full of DVDs, and in those were some golf DVDs. These 2 are part of the same series, a Square to Square Method Masters series with Doug Tell. I don't follow golf that much. I do like to watch it on occasion, but these actually went out $29.99 free shipping. And typically when I go higher, if I'm pulling or demanding a higher price, I know how much profit I have into it. Typically, if they're close, I'll go ahead and ship them priority just to get them there a little bit sooner. Next item I have here is another DVD out of that lot, the Megsa Method, and this one went $19.99 plus, and this one just went first class. It was just 1 DVD. And the funny thing, I believe it's this one, it actually came back. It was returned because it couldn't be delivered. And I reached out to the buyer. They still haven't gotten back to me. I don't know if it was something to do with, thanks Lonnie. I don't know if it had to do with the way they put their address in. It could have been they missed an apartment number. I know that's happened to me in the past, but I'm still waiting for the buyer to find out if he wants to reach out to me and get his, hello Grandma Wrinkles, if you came here for an unboxing, unfortunately I screwed up on my live stream and this is not an unboxing. So $19.99 plus shipping on that one. Okay, one thing you're going to see a returning theme here is patterns. I'm trying to liquidate all these patterns, get rid of them. I've already made. I've at the auction house. I paid. I think it was like $35, $40 for patterns last summer. I ended up. There's probably 400 or 500. I mean, it was. There was a ton of them, and I actually listed a lot of these individually. Then I got tired of listing them individually. When you're listing that many patterns, and you just get tired, so you start putting them in. That's really funny. Lottie said he had a buyer that was in jail. The jail refused the package. How in the hell were they ordering stuff off of eBay in jail? Anyway, these patterns, a lot of these I was selling anywhere from $4.99 to $12, $13, and based on what it was, I think I did a lot better on bridal. All of them were vintage, but finally I just dropped all the prices down to auctions at one point. I sold some that way, and then I said, you know what, the hell with it. I'm just going to put them all at $1 and see if I can get rid of even more, and you'll see that I sold a lot of patterns this month. So that's Warm and Natural Craft Collection. And we have Cabbage Patch Kids, and it actually had the little Cabbage Patch bonus iron-on transfer. Can I get that on the screen? Whoop, whoop. Yeah, right there. It actually had that in the pattern, so it was complete. I am sure they were stoked about getting their vintage Cabbage Patch Butterick pattern in the mail. That's funny. Don't let that be a reflection that everybody that plays Dungeons and Dragons is sitting in jail letting their mom order their rule books for them. Here's another craft pattern, buck plus. Actually, that one was bid. This is one of my auction ones. That one went up to $6.28 plus shipping. I'm gonna have to pay closer attention. It must have been mid-month that I switched over from bids to buy it nows. That one 99 cents plus shipping. There's vintage one short piece, 99 cents. Oh, this is actually the one that was returned. So this one I actually sold for. I want to make sure I didn't take a best offer on this one and make myself a liar. This one I actually took a best offer, or an offer of $27. So it ended up being $31.45 out the door. Huge return on these golf DVDs. I paid $3, and I've got some music discs that were in there as well. Yeah, the patterns have paid off very well, but it's time for them to go. I'm tired of. They're easy to ship, but it's just they're kind of long tail items, and it's just taken up. Did I miss something? Trouser Trolls? I was trying to go back up to the, I'll catch that later. Oh. John. Next, okay, more patterns. I'm not going to bore you with all these patterns. This is going to be 99 cents. Winning bid, $3.75 shipping. Well, actually, I take that back. Never believe me on these shipping, because I think what eBay does, somebody called me out on it one time. What eBay does is when you go in and look at something that's sold, or because a lot of us do look at solds to get our, look for comps and stuff, but that's actually the shipping cost to your location. So it would cost me $4.45 to ship that to me, but it would have cost, and it wouldn't have been much different than that shipping anywhere in the United States going first class. But I had to correct somebody that called me out on cheating somebody out of shipping. And I was like, dude, this is what it was. Here's some more crafting patterns. I probably should send these back through the auction house and let them get rid of the rest of them for me. I've still probably got a couple hundred that I have not haven't even listed. Here's another 99 cents. They got a good deal. Look at that. They got 3 patterns for $1. Where else can you go to get 3 patterns for $1 unless you're going half price off at the local thrift store? Oh, thanks, Lonnie, for clearing that up for me. First class is the same nationwide, so is media. John, you're busted. We have proof of whatever you're typing over there in the chat room. Here's some more gloves again. I've got one more pair. I've got to put that listing back up so I can drop that last one. Another set of gloves. So, like I said, I think I paid, I want to say 70, it was somewhere between $40 and $70, 70 cents a piece on these. And I had them listed earlier at $4.99. I finally just dropped the price because some of this stuff that's just been sitting around, I want to get rid of it and move on to something else. Here's another one of those books. This one went out for $11.69 plus shipping. You'll notice a common theme that I do charge shipping on everything. Well, I take that back. There's a few things that they're higher price items I'll charge or I'll give free shipping, but for the most part. Hello, Sarah. I did not realize that. If you're looking for some patterns in your junk journals, let me know. So you're saying list them as ephemera instead of listing them as actually as patterns. I might have to give that a shot. Somebody is always watching you, John. Here's another set of those Rawlings girls' gloves. This is something I actually sourced out of my father-in-law's place. It was a super disc, 120 megabyte. I had no way of testing this, so I basically, in the listing, I put unit runs and ejects. So that's all I could test, and I just said I was unsure how well it reads. So I actually I listed it for $40, put it on sale for $35.99, and I actually took a offer. They wanted to go lower, like $20, but I was including free shipping on this one. And they wanted $20. I came back and I said, dude, I'm paying $20. I'm paying for the shipping. How about meeting at $25? So I actually did send this out for $25, and that went through a flat rate envelope as well. I think I even gave him the disc that was in it. I did not know. I mean, I don't see these around. This is the first one I had seen, but of course I didn't find it out in the wild. It was basically just something I picked up, like I said, out of my father-in-law's estate. I've got a bunch of other stuff that I plan on listing out of there as well. And actually there's something coming up here soon that I picked up through his place as well. This is one of my Via trading items. The Via trading thing, we'll talk about that. I bought the one box, and I ended up paying $300 for 75 pieces shipped. So that's what it landed. And so it averaged out to about $4 roughly a piece per item. I've got about 17 items, I believe, listed out there on Poshmark, and I've got a few pieces listed on eBay. I really just, for me, clothes, I would say probably 80 to 90% of your clothes, you're not going to get more than $15 for. At least that's what I'm finding. The majority of the items that you sell, unless you live, and that's going to depend on where you live in the country. I think that if you live in places where people spend a lot more money on clothes, you're going to find, better quality stuff. But, me personally, I don't believe that, these 60, 80, 100, $150 items, you're going to find a ton of them, at least not in my area. So I would decide to go the wholesale route. I ended up letting this one go for $14.39 plus shipping, which to me is still pretty decent. And all this stuff was new with tags, but they ended up being, customer returns is basically what they were. They still had the tags on them, so they're all in pretty good condition. All my buyers were happy with them, but they're just slow movers for me right now. And it could be just simply because I'm not listing a lot of clothes at the moment. After I started listing a few on eBay, I decided to give Poshmark a try, and that's when I started listing things over there. And with the move and everything, I am kind of delayed on listing and stuff. I'm trying to set up a little photo booth for products next door, and get the rest of my clothes listed. If you are priced comparable to other listings with shipping costs or free shipping on eBay, it really doesn't matter how you list because you pay 10% of the total selling price, including shipping. Yes. Okay, that was a Vince Camuto, by the way. New blue women's size large. This was funny. Well, I have to say, what's funny about it, I picked this up at a thrift store quite a while ago. This is a vintage tie carrier, and basically you loop your ties up here in this thing, and it folds in there. You zip it closed, and you throw it in your luggage. And I've held on to this forever. Ended up finally getting rid of it for $8.98. Plus shipping, and the shipping was basically because it did go over the pound, and because of the size of it, I mean it's probably, figure tie fold. Yeah, it was about that long, but the message on it was, I was trying to remember. It was basically, you never know. It was on my feedback. I'm gonna check that out. Here's something I never realized how much I needed until I had it. Many thanks. So nobody knows that they need a vintage tie travel case / holder until they have one, and then they realize they should have had one a long time ago. So that one was that. I was really glad to get rid of that. Like I said, it's been sitting in my inventory for some time, and I think I probably paid $1 for it. I mean, it was. I wouldn't have paid much more than that, just because it's one of those items that would very rarely come up, that somebody would be searching for, because you don't know you need it until you have one. Here's another one of those knives that I picked up. You'll see that it does have a missing blade. Those knife blades are pretty worn. I tried to make sure to capture that the best I could. In fact, when I first looked at this, I didn't even realize it had 3 blades, and so I started taking photos. That was a terrible photo. I don't know why some of these photos ended up so bad. I swear I wasn't drinking that much when I was listing. I try to watch myself doing that, because I've done some pretty crazy photos. Not with me in them, but this one I sold. I went to auction, $10 plus shipping. These just went in, first class. They're light. Basically, I just wrapped them up in bubble wrap, and fold them over. And I actually have these styrofoam tubes that I don't know if you go to any of these festivals that you hit the switch and these styrofoam tubes light up, and because they have little LEDs in them. Well, being in concessions, 4th of July, we ended up selling a bunch of those. I had a bunch left, so I actually pulled the LED mechanisms out of them, and I cut them the length of the knife, put a slit down, stuck the knife in there, and taped them closed. Yes, it is very, very good feeling, and it's really weird because last month I had a pretty down month, but all of a sudden in the last couple weeks, some of that weird stuff that I've been sitting there for so long, all of a sudden, bam. So if you don't need it till you have it, somebody must have just been bored and decided to browse eBay one time, and that's how they found it. I could not imagine John holding up for stuff for 4 years. I'm about to take a bunch of stuff to. I've got to. Well, I have to. I don't know if you've seen those hoarder shows, but it's going to be Hoarder Rod Buried Alive, and I'm going to have to set out the piles for this to garbage, this to donate, this to auction, and this I'm going to keep and list. The way I look at long tail stuff, if it's something that has value that you can hold out for, long tail stuff is worth hanging on to. But if it's these lower price items, it's hard for me, and I don't keep the best records and tracking my inventory and stuff, but if they're listed and they're long tail and you go over your threshold for the number of listings that you get free a month, you could potentially be paying, the 25, 30 cents per item per month on that item. So if you're holding off for something that's only going to sell for $10, after a year, 2 years, after eBay fees and everything else, you really have no profit that you're making on that. So unless you can make sure that those long tail items are part of your free listings, then you're okay. But if you're being charged every month for that listing fee, then that's when you have to be careful. At least that's kind of how I look at it. But if my theory is wrong, let me know. Next item. This was kind of a cool find. I paid $15 at a thrift store for a box that said it wasn't Battleground. I'm trying to think of the other game in there. Anyway, there's 2 games, and they're these. I can't even think of the name of it right now. But they're these fantasy type games. So I pulled all the pieces out. I went online. I pulled down the inventory for all the pieces, and I found out which pieces were missing. And actually, this one, the directions, had a listing for all the pieces that you needed. And I pretty much just in the listing, missing 3 pieces, 1 crossbow and catapults piece, and 2 tower attack pieces. See description. In the description, I also put in. I thought I put in a whole list. Oh, I included the whole list of all the items that were in there. An account. This one actually had part of an expansion pack, so I had to figure that out. So it was actually only missing 1 piece from the Battleground crossbows and catapults set, and 2 pieces from the Tower Attack expansion. It seemed like a really cool game for kids. Basically, everything is kind of rubber band controlled, and you can launch the pieces down there, these round pieces. You can launch them from these catapults. You can pull back like these cannon looking things. This is part of the expansion. You put your disc inside there, and you pull back the back of that cannon, and you can launch it. And basically, you are trying to knock down, I believe, these little standing things here and the walls. And if you hit the gate on the castles back here, the fire pops up. If you hit the cages or the part up on the top of, you actually have like an orc or something inside the cage, and you hit that thing on the top of it, and it pops everything out. And this with the expansion, this is the first time I come across it. This with the missing pieces, I ended up selling out at $75 free shipping. Oh, games in general. Some things I have set aside that I plan on parting out. I have Scrabble pieces, and I have other games. The bad thing for me up here, I find that I can never say, either I'm picking the wrong game, or it's because we're in the Northwest. It's very hard on eBay to let them go because of shipping. Okay, I only pulled it back. I only shot the disc a couple times out of each, And I think I actually I did have to let them know that they may need to replace some of the rubber bands. And on top of that, so $15 for two games. The other one I believe was complete. It might have had one piece missing, so I lowered the price on that. I've already come out ahead on this one. I was pretty excited, and it sold within a day or two after listing. Oh, here's the other Bianchi leather poster that I bought. And you can see it wasn't in immaculate condition, but the thing is, they did a lot of they did quite a bit of reprints of these. I believe down in the corner it tells you where you can order a copy of the print. But these were, I believe, the ones that actually hung in the stores. I believe Bianchi does a lot of like leather holsters and stuff like that. And this one I actually believe I took a best offer on. I just got in this mood that, you know what, if they give me something reasonable, I'm going to take it. I'm tired of holding out for the highest price possible only to see it sit on my shelf. This one I took $20 plus shipping, so it went out $27 out the door. And I pretty much on these, the priority mail, I get those. I don't get fancy and get the tubes. I get those triangle boxes that you can order through USPS. I don't know if they make shotguns or the leather, just the leather accessories. I'll look it up real quick. For some reason, I believe they only make the leather. Yeah, everything I see is on holsters. There is a Bianchi that makes bicycles with a quick Google search here. Maybe they make bicycles now. I don't know. They don't bully me for best offer. I choose. A lot of people won't offer best offer. I choose to be open in the way that I sell on eBay and let the offers roll in. Does it mean I'm going to take them? No. You have the option of saying no, but because I get some low ball offers. Everybody does the offer that does the best offer. I've had something listed, say for $45. They offer me $5, and I came back at $40, and they offer me $6, so I'll go back at $46. I mean, at some point you just get kind of pissed off that people aren't even. They're really just. Excuse me. They're really just trying to screw you and thinking that you're gonna be a pushover and sell something for $5 or $6. And I have actually came back with an offer. Maybe not. It wasn't as high. I don't think you can go higher, but I think it went like the same price. But I went higher than what my first counter offer was. I know I've done that before, just because it irritated the crap out of me. So again, $27 for, and this was the Wild Bunch. The other one had the Lawman. They're pretty cool posters, and like I said, I paid $5 a piece for them. Here's a bat I paid $3 for. The thing that really I liked about that, it had the Atari symbol for it. And San Francisco Giants, 25 years. Like I said, I'm a gamer before I play sports. I think I gave $3, maybe $4. I'll have to double check. I want to say it was $3, but this actually went to the National Gaming Museum in somewhere in Texas. I don't think it's a huge museum, but I thought it was pretty cool anyway, just because I do game quite well. I used to game quite a bit. Ever since I started reselling, I find that my playing game has diminished to nothing or near nothing. And I want to say I want to double check. I think I may have taken an offer on this one as well. Yes, I ended up selling this one for $20 plus shipping, so it ended up being $31.80 out the door. Hello, Michelle. How's my favorite Michelle on the internet doing tonight? I'm a fat kid. I was never good at sports and picked last in gym class. You know what sucked being I was a little scrawny turd when I was in high school. Nothing compared to what I am now. And man, I tell you what, you had to get good at catching a ball. And I'm not talking about baseballs. I'm not talking about footballs. I'm talking about dodgeballs. Because when you're a scrawny little kid in high school, you're the one that they're throwing the balls at. So that's the only thing that I got really good at was catching those dang big red balls. I have been busted in the face. I'm doing pretty good, Michelle. I remember one time, because if you get hit in the head, you're not out. That was one of the rules. I got popped in the face, bloody nose, ran out, cleaned myself up. The game was still coming back in, and I came back in. I don't think we won the game, but I'm just saying I was a trooper, but playing dodgeball as a scrawny kid in high school really did suck. Here's some more of those books that I got. This is Osprey modeling manuals. I would say if you can come across these modeling, this is the first time I would really consider a bolo because I had so many of these, so I proved them out that I could sell them. If you do come across any of these model painting books, or I would say if you can get them cheap enough, pick them up. Most of these I let go from anywhere from $10 to 15 plus shipping. So this was airbrush painting techniques. Basic aviation modeling. A couple of these went to the same buyer. Here's a book. I don't even remember where I picked this one up, but this was Infinity Gate, Sarah Douglas. This is there was a series of 3, and sold one of them $6.99 free shipping. Hairstyle books from salons. Like the magazines or like the hardcover books? Oh, look at that. More softball batting gloves. Like I said, I'm almost done with the gloves. I got one more pair I got to relist. There's another set. This is part of those golf books that I picked up, or those golf DVDs that I picked up. This was Indoctrination. This was sealed in package. Public Schools and the Decline of Christianity in America. Sealed in package. And this went out $9.99 free shipping. I really thought this was going to be a long haul because I don't know, unless it's advertised in churches or somewhere, I don't know where else you would even come across this. But hey, I don't know why I put like new. I think I get gun shy a lot of times on listing things that are older as new. I will have to remember that, John. Of course, everybody knows that micro cassettes do well. I actually took an offer, I believe, on these. Let me double check. Again, I was just ready. If somebody made me a reasonable offer. No, actually, I did sell them for $19.99 plus shipping. So there's a set of 12 of them there, or 9, I guess. But the micro cassettes, they always do okay. And more patterns. I was really surprised this didn't go earlier. But I'm kind of glad it didn't. Almost all of these patterns were complete. Some of them were cut, but just by the way that all of them were individually sealed in plastic envelopes, or the almost like Ziploc baggies with little holes in them so that they wouldn't capture air. But this one unfortunately had one piece missing, so the person the person that bought it, she goes, "Do you have this other piece? It's a critical piece for." So I automatically felt terrible because I could just picture this bride to be that was the dress they wanted, and here's Rod selling the pattern, and it's missing a piece. So I felt like total crap. But you know me, I do offer free returns. This particular one, I just let him keep it. I mean, I was out what, $4 total, which I didn't mind. You know, it's I kind of like to think that I count for a lot of these returns that I do through other sales. So this was a fail on my part, but like I said, on all the pattern lot that I had, I actually did do really well. So I could eat four or $5 on this one. These folks got a good deal as well. A set of 3 simplicity patterns, very easy Vogue patterns, Jiffy, and I don't know what the other one is, but they got 3 patterns for $1. Yeah, tapes always do fairly well for me. I do all of mine through eBay. I know that you can get a higher price through Amazon, but with all of Amazon restrictions and everything else, I just choose not to go through the hassle. Another pair of gloves, another pair of gloves. Here's another one of those Osprey books. Some of these were more not necessarily the modeling books, but they were a lot of history on these like this one's the T-34-85 medium tank. And it goes through and talks, goes more in depth on the history of the machinery. They are very, like I said, I'm just trying to get rid of them. I'm about to pull all the listings. My thing right now, I know it seems weird, but I want to try to keep my listed items up around 500. I'm trying to find out if it's because I went over that 500 mark in this month, if that had anything to do with my sales boosting. I'm not saying it did, but I just found it weird that I try to look at all the changes that I've made and why the last couple months. Was it just because March is so much better? I'll have to go back and look at my sales last year, but I was a lot newer then. So anyway, I want to try to keep my listings right at about 100 or 500. So I want to take some of those patterns. If you've seen one of my last videos, I bought a bunch of Christmas houses. I'm going to slowly replace patterns with the Christmas village houses and see how those do. So this one went out $12.99 plus shipping, and like I said, I've done all at medium mail. Here's another one of those Flames of War, the game books. This was actually there was 2. I want to say there may have been 2 lots there. One was the Flames of War, and the other one was the Osprey books. That could be it too, Lonnie. Finally got rid of these skates. I want to be honest with you. Some of the skates I picked up, I did pretty well on. These I ended up letting these go $18 plus shipping. Shipping was horrendous. They ended up paying $41.15 out the door. So I used a pair of ice skates. They were in great condition. And you guys know how to take photos. I just basically take every angle. Is it the best photos? Maybe not. But they were clear, and it did show, like right there, I don't know if you can see, if my big mug's probably in the way, but they actually had some signs of wear right there. And it may not be, it might have been scuffs from the skates. I don't know. I'm not a skater. I don't claim to be. I did find that one movie with, what was that skating movie with, anyway, there's a comedy. I can't remember what the heck it was called, but I did see that skating movie. That's about the only thing that I know about skating. Here's somebody made a heck of a deal on these patterns. These actually went on a flat rate envelope, and they paid for it. So, 99 cents they got all those patterns for. The cutting edge. Thank you. This one, I threw this in there because not all sales are complete. I did not actually sell this. I had it listed $14.99, $3.68 shipping, Boston in photographs. When I take these pictures of these books, I always like to, usually this one not in particular, but if I'm doing it on the weapons catalogs, the vintage old hunting sportsman catalogs, I try to take photos of the table of contents and then some of the items inside. This one I didn't do table of contents. I just tried to capture some of the photos in the book, and basically they had ordered it, and she politely messaged me and said, "Can you please cancel this? I bought it for my mom, but she got another one already at a better price or whatever." And as frustrating as I got, one time I ordered a turn signal switch, and within 30 minutes I found the one that I was missing. And don't ask me why I was missing a turn signal switch, but I got frustrated because I couldn't find it. So I just went on eBay. I ordered one, and in that 30 minutes that no knowledge is useless. See, you kept that in your head just so that you could remind me when the question came up. But anyway, I messaged them. I said I want to cancel this order. I tried to cancel it, and it automatically came back, or they didn't ship it yet. But basically, they didn't acknowledge it. For whatever reason, they did not allow me to cancel it and went ahead and shipped me the item anyway, told me that it had already shipped. And it really kind of pissed me off because I knew that they very well could have canceled my order. And it was only like, $10, $15 ship. But it was just the principle. And I have a lot of weird principle things that I try to live by, whether they're right or wrong, but I choose not to do that to my customers. So if somebody orders and I haven't shipped it out with, I'm going to cancel it. No sweat off my back. I guess that's the only story. That's the story that goes with the item that is in my list of what's sold that didn't actually sell. Travis the Singing Trout. Featuring synchromotion technology, motion activated, moves his mouth to the words of the song as he turns and directly faces you. Doo-wah diddy diddy and rock the boat. When I saw this came out of my father-in-law's estate. When I saw the comps on this, I really didn't believe it, but it was still sealed in box. I did open the box there to take photos just to show that it was, still the way it came. I actually sold this for $49.99 plus shipping. Who would have thought? So if you have Travis the Trout, I think there's Billy the Bass. I think there's a deer. But I've also heard that a lot of these animatronic type novelty items, that's what I'm going to call them, because I remember these were flooding like Walmart and stuff when I was much, much, much younger. But dig them out of the closet if you have them. Check out comps. Don't just believe me. Do some research. This one I'm still waiting on. I picked. There was a local thrift store that went out of business, and I talked about this in another video, that there's a lot of thrift stores, it seems, in this area that are privately owned that are going out of business, or they're not just privately owned, but they're charity thrift stores. So I went and bought. I spent like $15 on a whole lot of stuff, and because it was pretty much make an offer, and I threw in a little bit more just because I kind of felt bad because they were desperate to get rid of a lot of their stuff because they had to do something with it. This was, I thought this was really cool. And this was a a marine dress uniform garment bag. And the only thing that was wrong with it, this is what the clasp is supposed to look like, but not so blurry. And this is what the other one looks like. It was held together with a zip tie or a twist tie. Hey, Don. Thanks for stopping in. Happy Friday to you. Thanks for jumping in. I appreciate it. But this one, I mean, it was leather. It was in great condition, in and out, except for that buckle. And I actually sold it for $29.99. But for whatever reason, it had something wrong. Something wrong with the address. So, I think what it was. Let me remember this. When I went to look at PayPal, this might have been the item. When I went to look at PayPal, it said it was non-verified U.S. funds, but it didn't have any shipping information on it. So it might have been somebody outside of country or something that was buying it for somebody here in the States, and they were having it shipped to Georgia. But the address on the shipping label, it didn't have the name of a city. It just had like the county name or something like that. So I think there was something weird has happened, and maybe I'll end up calling eBay, but I ended up having to actually submit an invoice. I did get a message from eBay talking about the address. So I went out and created a new invoice after I packaged it up, calculated the shipping, and put that on the invoice, and I sent it to them. And the invoice, I mean, because of the size, shipping this, it's going to be expensive. And I want to say it was like $35. It was roughly $55 shipped to get this garment bag out. Well, I still haven't received payment, so I waited my day or two, and I have now got a unpaid item case on this. And that's something I always do, is if you don't receive the money right away, I don't complain, because I do this part-time. I don't I want to have the money, but I can afford to wait a day to. I don't complain if they don't hit that pay now or rapid pay or whatever, because almost all of my customers do end up paying with one reminder. So I'll send them the payment reminder and an invoice. But as soon as the time runs down where I can open that unpaid item case, I go ahead and hit that. That way I can cancel the sale as soon as in the least amount of time. At the hotel for layover. Oh, wow. If I was going to if I was on counterfeit money, I think I'd want to do 20s. But I guess maybe they think people are going to overlook a 1 or 5. Very interesting. Yeah, but the problem was the address was correct. I messaged him asking to verify the address, and I don't know. It was weird. It was. I'm gonna have to get more information on it, because eBay had sent me the information and told me to invoice him for the. Let me see. Let me pull that up real quick, because it was a very odd. I'm going to go to messages here. Okay, I'll send him the total. I'm just trying to go back and look at the. I was going to try to find the. yeah, it says, we are sending the email to inform you that the buyer for this item called us informing that they are getting an error paying the item. Error says this item does not ship to GA, United States. Here's what you can do. And shipping costs cannot be calculated. Please call or please enter a valid zip code. Upon checking on the listing, you have the item assigned the shipping for calculating. I had it listed as calculated shipping through FedEx. Buyer asking if you can just send them an invoice so that they can't pay the item right away. We encourage you to contact the buyer through eBay message since your buyer don't have the option to contact you. Oh, so maybe that may be what the issue is. That they couldn't pay right away, but that doesn't make sense why they would say they couldn't get... I don't know, I'm going to have to call eBay tomorrow on that or when they're open and see if they can clarify that better for me. Maybe I'm just misunderstanding. Sega Newport says it all. I'm sorry. So anyway, I'm still waiting for payment on that. Interesting story. I'll follow up on that. These I didn't make a ton on. These are some vintage, I call them steampunk, Victorian style, lace up, high heel boots. And they were, you can see there was some, oddly, some of the glue that held the, I don't want to say they were poorly handmade, but they were pretty darn close. But I did list all that. I took measurements. There was no sizing. So I took the measurement based off of information I found online, measured the inside to come up with the size. Just took a picture of the bottom. There was some scuffing there on the what do you call that? The ball portion of your foot. The heels were okay condition. They were made in Portugal. And these I actually did take an offer on because they've been sitting for, I want to say, 7 or 8 months. And again, I was ready to see them go. I took $22 and shipped, plus shipping, $31.85 out the door. And I want to say I paid $14 for them. So not I you know, I didn't make much off of those. I will check into that, Michelle. Thanks for letting me know. I did. It was the thing that threw me off, and maybe why I just kind of ignored the email, is because PayPal said non-verified U.S. funds. I did not. I don't put my shoes in flat rate, and I don't know if they would have fit. They may have fit. I box all my shoes, and maybe I don't need to, but maybe I should have at that price. Here's another one of those knives. This was a Barlow with a Japan Saber 29. Don't ask me what that means. I don't know a lot about knives, but I know that these all sold pretty well. Yes, that's what I'm trying to do. There's a lot of stuff. The fortunate thing about me doing this part-time is I'm really trying to use everything that I learned along the way so that in the event that I lose my job, I'll have this to fall back on. And so I try to soak in as much as I can. I experiment. You'll see that I sell a wide variety of items. So hopefully I will learn myself what sells, what doesn't, where I can get a little bit higher profit margins. So, but I hate to just stop selling it if pull the listing after a month. I try to let everything have their good go to be sold and sent to a nice loving home out in the eBay customer world. Shipping is the biggest thing for me to learn. Hello, Miss 1976, baby. Hey, y'all. If you did come in expecting an unboxing, sadly, I messed up. We're doing. I'm doing what sold. So I know somebody else asked me why this wasn't an unboxing. It's because the first live stream that I did through YouTube was an unboxing, and I just can't get it right. I just can't get it right. So anyway, here's another. This one had bone handle. The thing about listing things that you are buying things, sourcing things that you may not know about, it drives you to go out and do research. So I had to go out and learn different types of blade closures, different types of locking mechanisms, different materials that they use for handles, things that look, and through a lot of these knives, I got a lot of questions on them. So that even increased me, made me go out and look for more information. It made me more aware about what buyers are looking for. But personally, I think that if you can pick up these knives pretty well or fairly cheap, like I said, I paid $20 for a lot of them, and I think I had 10 of them in there, and you've already seen a few of them go, this month, and this is just another one. And this one, it's overall, I put all these all to auction. Some of the things, if I don't know a ton about, and these obviously showed quite a bit of wear, I figure out what's the minimum that I want to get out of them, or I need to get out of them to break even, and I'll put them up to auction just to see where they go. And this particular one went from $5 to $10. Excuse me. I think everybody needs a class on shipping that hasn't been doing it very well. I mean, I have been doing this for about a year, and I think I'm coming up a year and a half. So I'm very new to reselling, but I know that if it wasn't for the mistakes that I made in the beginning on shipping, I would still probably be making mistakes when I do merch fulfilled. That was the biggest lesson, was paying somebody to actually take an item that I had listed on Amazon, and making sure that a lot of this stuff, if I know, I buy with my because I have a store, I get that X amount of dollars, I can't remember what it is, every quarter to spend. I buy usually those small, I want to say they're 10 by 8, or they're just small envelopes, padded envelopes. That's what I spend on those. So I know they don't weigh much. Everything that can fit in those, I weigh the item. I already know the dimensions of the envelope. So, and I do everything calculated shipping. So that's really the main reason I do calculated. I lose myself if I do free shipping and I decide to run a sale and I forget that I have free shipping on. I'm losing money because I might knock 25% off of the price and forgot that I had that buffer in there for the shipping. Stop making the shipping mistakes, Don. I'm going to tell you this one here. I just had fun taking the photos. I was playing around with my camera on these, and hopefully I didn't get too crazy with them, that when the buyer got them, that they're like, that's not what it looked like in the photos. But basically these cars, I took a picture of the front with the hood up, focusing in on the engine. There's with all the doors open, almost like it's at a car show. There's the trunk, the steering wheel. Do you see how it's actually in a car show? There's cars sitting up there in the back they're either at the drive-in, which are non-existent nowadays, at least in most communities, or they're driving up to show off their ride at a local car show event. And I always take a picture of the underneath. The picture on the other underneath, it wasn't that great, but hey. This one sold for $14.99 plus shipping, and this basically I put these in a cardboard. I wrapped it in cardboard, and you know what do they call it, Frankenbox, and I shoved it in a flat rate envelope and sent it out that way. Yeah, that is a good strategy to go. Is the flat rate, but really once you get, I want to say above, it may be different now, but it seemed like if you went above even 14 ounces, it fits in a flat rate, it's almost just as cheap to send it flat rate. And it might be a few cents. When you have a store on eBay, you get that shipping discount. So it's almost more beneficial to go ahead and ship it in a flat rate envelope, and it boosts your positive feedback and everything else. At least that's the way I look at it, and I could be wrong, but this isn't a 40, by the way. It is an IPA, locally brewed, I think. Oh, this is Seattle. It's Elysian. I may be even pronouncing it wrong. Next item. This is the Bolo. Lonnie says, you need to tell people about these, because I was in a conversation with them, I want to say last night, and I said, I just sold a dictionary today. He's like, a dictionary? I never thought about it. You should make sure that you let people know that's a Bolo. So basically, I think I paid $1.50, maybe $2 for this. It could have even been $3, but it was, and I'm gonna give my daughter credit. We were out thrifting, and my daughter's like, hey, why don't we try to sell this? And she brings this big dictionary, which that is not Lonnie's book. Lonnie got that idea from me. It's the same book, but I think she was just joking, thinking that she was being, she's 10, she's trying to be funny. And I said, I looked it up, and I was like, oh, okay. And I brought it home, and I listed it, and it sold for, that was probably less than a month, and it sold for $30 plus shipping. It did go out. That's okay, Lonnie. I stole the title from somebody else. I hope you changed the year, because I think yours might have been yours was a 79, I think. It goes out media mail, which thank goodness, because if you drop this on your head, you would be hurting. I mean, it's probably that thick, and probably weighs about, I don't remember how much it was, but it was probably a good 6, 7, maybe 8 pounds. It was heavy. And on most of my books, I do try to take a picture of the binding and the inside front cover, and then try to get all the copyright information on it. And well, I might be a liar here. There's a table of contents. Like I said, a lot of my vintage books, I do change that, and it did have some wear up there on the corner. That's probably about what mine weighed. I know it weighed a ton, and it just, the only thing, and I'm not big on descriptions. I probably did this from the phone because the punctuation's terrible. Great condition. Yeah, I need to really work on not using my phone to do my descriptions, because I have the strangest typos. Discolor around page edges due to age as shown in images. So anyway, there it is, $29.99. Be on the lookout for old vintage Webster's New Universal Unabridged Dictionary. That's the first time I've ever said Bolo in any of my videos, I believe. If you watch any of my past videos, you know that I there for a period I was buying a lot of jewelry. Thought hey, I'm gonna try jewelry. I'm gonna try Etsy. I'm gonna try this. I'm gonna try that. Jewelry, 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 jewelry. And I'm sitting on a lot of jewelry. Even the stuff that I think is really great, it's just not selling. And a part of that is just lack of knowledge. This is a vintage. It should have said faux sterling silver. No, Bow. Bow's the brand, I think. That's what it was. It was Bow. I'm trying to think of it. Yeah, Bow Sterling, Beau. Um, that went $9.99 free shipping, first class, no brainer. Not a ton of money on it, but still, if you sell a lot of it and you get known for doing jewelry, I really do think that probably one of the things that I have that probably hurts me is that I am so diverse in what I'm selling. Um, I often wonder on like jewelry items if when I listed all that jewelry I had, I sold more jewelry than I do now. But I haven't, and nobody really knows the algorithms, but eBay. But sometimes I wonder if you sell a lot of the same type of item in a row, you're increasing your chances of selling that type of item. Pages were yellowed too. I think that just came with age. I didn't see. John said about law books. When you say law books, are you talking about old law books? We're not gonna spend too much time. Here's more craft sewing patterns. Thanks whoever said that earlier about the ephemera. I might have to try that before I just start throwing them out the door. More patterns, more patterns. These are all 99 cents. Like I said, I dropped the price of 99 cents just to try to get rid of them. So 99 cents plus shipping. More patterns, more patterns. I wish I could find, I'm going to have to search for this because this is a Now and Zen alarm clock. And if you don't know what this is, that little metal bar that goes across there, there's a little hammer underneath that hits that and it dings for a while. I'm going to see if I can find it because for the life of me, I could not figure out or remember what I paid for this. Let me see if I can do a search. Nope, not on that page. I really wish I could find this. Because I hate being a liar. Oh, Zen clock. I actually paid $16 for this, plus the buyer's premium. But I knew that there was the comps were on it were pretty good. Everything worked. The one thing that I did when I was looking at comps and stuff, you want to make sure that the digital readout display that it shows all the entire display, that each number is visible. Make sure that there's none. I don't know what you call the little lines that make up the numbers on a digital clock. Make sure all those work. This plugged in. I actually tested it down to. They had the countdown mode, the on-off switch. They had the power cord, and I just took pictures of all sides, and I put it up for $69.99, free shipping, and I want to say I took another best offer. I sold her $55 free shipping, and I actually fit it in I put it in a flat rate envelope. And before you say anything about putting it in a flat rate envelope, I wrapped it in bubble wrap, and I told you about those foam things. So it's wrapped in bubble wrap, and then it has these foam tube things around all sides, and uh, then I Frankenboxed the box around that and enclosed it all in cardboard. So it's got bubble wrap, foam, cardboard, and then in a flat rate envelope. Hey, Grubby. Welcome. Thanks for stopping in. Okay, we're going back on to patterns. Another pattern. Like I said, all these are 99 cents plus shipping. Hello, Cindy. Welcome back. Thanks for stopping in this evening. And no, it's not another haul video. If anybody's jumping in, not a haul. It's not another unboxing video. I'm going to fix that before I go live the next time. So I has got a heck of a deal with these children's patterns. 6 patterns for 99 cents. Are called segments or segments. They'll be telling me that it's S-E-M-E-N-T-S when it's supposed to be S-E-G-M-E-N-T-S. Because if I'm supposed to use Siemens or Siemens, I'm gonna wait for your. Oh, I saw your comment, Sarah. Will do. Okay. Thank you for clarifying, Lonnie. You're gonna make me look like a fool. Check to make sure all the Siemens are visible. Another pattern, 99 cents. Another wedding pattern, 99 cents. And then I did have one book go. I want to not show that just because it had the address on there. I'll have to clear that out. But it that is so funny. I will make sure not that I use the G and make sure that it is not silent. But I sold a book on Amazon. It was, I'm going to tell you, how I got into selling books on Amazon was when Hastings went out of business. They had closed the store. I just happened to go in there, me and my wife, the last day of their huge clearance blowout sale. And it was getting close to the end of the day when we just happened to, we really did just happen to be in there. And it was right when I was starting to look at reselling. And it's like $5 a bag for all books. And it was like $10 a bag for non-book merchandise. So we just started throwing books in. And I ended up with a buttload. And when I say a buttload, I'm talking a shitload of Windows 8.1 books, manuals, or whatever. And Windows 8.1, it didn't last very long. So now I have all these 8.1 books. I thought, I'm never going to sell one of them. Well, finally, I sold one yesterday, day before yesterday, through Amazon. So I don't focus a lot of my energy on the books on Amazon. When I pick up books, I'll cross list them, or some books I just put strictly, like all of my vintage catalogs, sportsman catalogs. Those go strictly on eBay. But if I pick up any other types of books, I'll cross list them. But it's just something that it doesn't cost me anything to have the inventory up there because I'm doing merchant fulfilled. So yeah, I'm still selling books. I probably sell a book every week, a book every other week, but primarily I'm doing everything on eBay. Anyway, that is it for tonight. I hope you enjoyed. I enjoyed having y'all here, and I've been hitting these. I've been doing these mostly later at night, just until I get a little bit more comfortable doing the videos, and I try not to cross over and interrupt other people's playtimes, because a lot of us watch the same resellers online. I really don't want to infringe upon that. Uh, and I like to do the live streams because I'm a little bit lazy from that perspective. I don't have to do any editing. Everything is raw, and what you see is what you get. But anyway, I am going to call it a night. I want to get back to the old house, so I kick back, relax, and have a beer or two. And but yeah, it is. This is quite the transition coming over to the new place and trying to get everything set up. I started putting up shelves in the room next door to me, and then it's going to be just unpacking. I'm really trying to keep a mental picture of keeping my listed inventory from my non-listed, my death piles. But anyway, I'm going to say the same thing that all of us say that's on YouTube. Do the thumbs up, like, subscribe, and leave comments down below if you have your own bolos, if you saw something in here that you didn't think that would have sold, and if anything was helpful. And you know what, if you have any constructive criticism for me, leave those comments down below as well, because if we don't have constructive criticism, we can't grow, we can't learn. Anyway, you can't see my little thing back there because it's kind of small. I'm gonna have to get, my wife bought me a little sign back there, and it says stop wishing, start doing. And that's really the idea behind win by doing. If you don't take that first step off the starting line, you're going nowhere. So just keep up the good work, and we'll catch y'all next time. Peace out. Good night, everyone.